please. We'll bring the microphone. So please give your name and affiliation.
Why not using something cheaper for supporting the PV panels? Bamboo, for example.
I have no problem with bamboo, but it should last for 20 years. It has to be mechanically stable, even in case of wind. And the key point is you have still to pay the people who install it, whatever it is. Yeah, it's right. The wages are 50 euros per kilowatt peak, and I think the material is 180 euros per kilowatt peak. This makes up the 240 or 230 euros per kilowatt peak. Yes, try it. Then it will change a little bit the curves, but not much. Oh, we don't see anything. Whatever you do, your installation cost will not be zero. Come on. There's always a little bit Bill Gates with you. Yeah, here, then you are at this curve. Let's say you go from 40 to 20 euros per square meter. Then you are on this curve. Then it's even harder to use high efficiency modules, and you gain a little bit on this side. But nevertheless, everything below 10% is dead.
Yeah, in UK, IKEA started to sell panels directly. I think if IKEA starts to do that, they will also find a way how you self-assemble it yourself for free. That may change things.
Then you gain 50 euros per kilowatt peak, the wages. This means you go down from 1,000 to 950. Yeah. So it's 5%. Not much. You gain. The key message is the same. It's hard to sell something else than the standard that is already there, and a silicon module of 15% is a standard. And obviously it's hard to sell a module with a higher efficiency and a lower efficiency. For higher efficiency, you have a small gap, but you have to stay within the gap. Or you need a premium market. You need a good marketing like SunPower. You go to markets like, for example, Japan, where photovoltaic systems are more expensive. I don't know, the chairwoman?
Please give your name and affiliation.
Sure, my name is Tony Buonasisi from MIT. I had a question concerning the inputs into this figure. Are inputs into the figure, are you also considering the...
Sorry.
If you could...
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the scalar in all of this is the boss cost. So you're not including the module area cost into this figure as well?
Yes, it's already considered. All what it
so you're assuming that's fixed?
Look, this is the aerial cost of the balance of system. This is actually 1 kilowatt per square meter. This is the sun, and this is the reference module, this one here, 15% for example, and this is the new module that you would like to sell to me. So this is the module that I could purchase or not, and I make my decision based on this graph or calculation.
Right. So the implicit assumption here is that the aerial cost of the module is not changing.
The aerial cost of the module depends on the cost.
It scales.
Sure, yes,
it scales with the efficiency. It scales with the efficiency, but it's not changing curve. In other words,
it's not changing the curve.
Perfect.
You can shift this curve to any efficiency.
Right.
For example, if you take the reference module 20%, and I buy, or I don't buy. Okay. This is how an installer makes his or her decision. They do it in a more complicated way, but the result is exactly the same.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Kunaga, Professor Kunaga, is it okay? So, any other questions? We only have 1 minute, please.
I have two questions. One is the China start dominating the world market in photovoltaics since 5 years ago. Do you think China still keep dominating the world market?
I don't know. That cheaper modules dominate the world market.
Yeah.
You know, some of the Chinese modules do not come from China, but they come from Thailand, but they contain Chinese wafers. But it's a standard. You can get the same modules from Thailand or not from Vietnam yet, but from India you get the modules also for 50 euro cents per watt peak.
Okay. Yeah, personally I think China dominates the world market because of the cheap silicon market. So but you didn't think there is any room for improving the silicon for solar cell?
I'm not the right person to ask that, but I know that you're working on that. So maybe, but you know, it's 25 euros per square meter of silicon wafer. 25 euros per square meter. This is the price. This wood is more expensive than 25 euros per square meter.
But from the viewpoint of chemists, you know, the current silicon production process, we need about more than 100 kilowatt hours for producing 1 kilogram of silicon. So that is too much. And that's the main reason. The price of silicon is going down drastically recent years. But still, I think it's very expensive.
So despite the high amount of electricity that one uses, the price of silicon dropped.
Yeah.
This is the bad news for you. The good news for you, I know what you're working on, is there might be a chance to get it even to a lower price.
It looks bad news for me.
But this does not change the story. It's silicon.
Situation will change.
Anyway, it will help silicon even more.
To return to the cost, the production level. We have to, right now, silicon price is determined by the market. But I think the energy-based production cost will determine the future feedstock of silicon or any other the solar cell materials.
Maybe, but it's all a silicon. It's a complete silicon story. The whole photovoltaic story will be a silicon story.
Yeah, I agree with the silicon story, but you know, from the viewpoint of chemistry, there is something more.
I'm sorry, but
Thank you.
we're out of time. So please continue the discussion in the coffee time. Thank you again for your presentation, Professor Werner. Your presentation schedules were finished. In closing, I'd like to thank the speaker for their contribution and also thank the audience for your kind attention and many suggestions and comments. Thank you. Now let's take break from now to 15:20. We'll start from the 20 past 3, the next session. Thank you.